We've got a different style of video than we usually do here at the channel for you guys today, but it is one last call and push to win the sub battle this week with our AFC North rival channels here at Chat Sports. You guys answered the call. We have overtaken Steelers talk, but a very slim lead, 3 subs. Now here's the good news, right? We got the lead. Bad news, it's the Steelers, and they always know a way to come back and screw the Browns over. So hit that sub button so we can beat the Steelers and destroy the Ravens in subscribers here at Chat Sports. Let's talk AFC North football. I woke up this morning and I was like, there's not a whole lot of buzz out there. There's nothing really new surrounding the Browns. So let's do a different style of video for the people today. And let's take a look at the AFC North as a whole and kind of see where everyone's standing right now with free agency mostly done. There's still some notable names out there. And then there's the whole Ravens saga. And we got trades, and well, just one trade really, to enter into the equation to see where every team is standing in the division going into the NFL draft. Now, quickly, the 2022 standings to serve as a painful reminder. The Browns finished 4th, and I think that's a good reminder for all of us to take our medicine here a little bit and go, you know what? We cannot win in March. That's not where Super Bowls and fall wins come from. We need Stefanski to put this crew together and be a winning machine here. Now, first things first, I want to do a free agency tracker / refresher for all 4 teams in the AFC North. See who got what players and who lost which players. So let's start with the Browns here. The Browns free agency tracker looks like this. Ethan Posick, I like the 3-year contract. He was sorely missed last year when he got hurt. Obo hopefully can grow into a bigger role opposite of Myles Garrett. Love the Dalvin Tomlinson signing. Can't say enough good things about it. Taki on a 1-year, more or less prove-it deal. Juan Thornhill next up, 3 years, $21 million. Splash move right there to shore up the back end of the secondary. Tristan Hill, camp body. Jordan Akins has some connections with Deshaun Watson from Houston. Josh Dobbs comes back to Cleveland to be a very key part of this quarterback room. Jordan Kunashik, another 53-man bubble roster guy, good special teamer. Marquise Goodwin to try and bring some speed to the wide receiver room. Walker's back on a 1-year deal. Maurice Hurst along with Mike Ford and Matthew Adams. Those are the other 2 free agent signings. So all in all, the Browns have been very busy, right? I'm pretty sure I got everyone there, but it's more fun to be a Browns fan than, say, a Ravens fan who have signed no one outside of Nelson Aguilar. Now, here's who Cleveland lost in free agency. 6 guys, just 1 starter. And losing Taven Bryan might be addition by subtraction. So all in all, the Browns fared pretty well in free agency, I'd say. They didn't lose any key players, really, and they gained a lot of good players. My favorite signing has got to be Dalvin Tomlinson, because I might be a broken record, but I'm going to keep repeating this until I am proven wrong that the Browns' run defense has been fixed. 14 straight carries for the Falcons against Cleveland last year. The Chargers, the number 1 worst rushing team in football, 238 yards against the Browns. Those numbers are seared into my brain. Tomlinson and the rest of the crew, it's up to you to completely reverse course from last year. My free agency grade for the Browns, I'm going to give it a B+. I know everyone's looking for an A or an A+ or something like that. I don't think they got any huge A+ signings. I think Tomlinson and Juan Thornhill are great signings, but if they landed Javon Hargrave and Jesse Bates, that would be an A free agency, right? Not every single class can be an A, so I'm going to go with a B+ for the Browns. Now, I want everyone watching to get your red pen out and be the teacher for me here and give a letter grade to the Browns free agency signings. A, B, C, D, or F. I give it a B+. Like I said, they added Dalvin Tomlinson. They added Juan Thornhill. A lot of guys who I think are very good players. Are they Pro Bowl players? Not necessarily, so that's what's holding me back from giving them an A-letter grade. Moving on to the Steelers free agency tracker here. Patrick Peterson, DeMonte Casey, Nate Herbig, Larry Ogunjobi. What's up, Larry? Cole Holcomb, Eldon Roberts, Keanu Neal, Isaac from the Siamu, from the Eagles. Then you got James Pierre, Zach Gentry, LaRaven Clark, some low-level, very, training camp roster spot filling signings there. The most notable Pittsburgh Steelers free agent signing, I think, is Patrick Peterson coming over from Minnesota. Now, he's coming over because he has to replace a sorely missed player that was sort of becoming a very fan favorite in the Steel City, which is Courtland Sutton, who we'll look at in a moment. My grade for Pittsburgh, I'm going to give it a C. It's average. You did sign some nice players. You did add to your offensive line. You added Patrick Peterson. You added some good safeties and whatnot. But did you really make your team better in free agency? I don't think so. That's not really un-Steelers-like. They've never been one to make a bunch of splash signings. So I give it a C. It's average. Now, they lost some key guys in free agency, most notably cornerback Cameron Sutton, right? The CB2 out of Tennessee, who was rising towards the end of his career. Devin Bush, they're not very upset about that loss. I think Terrell Edmonds, they will miss, though. Malik Reed, he was a nice rotational edge rusher, and with TJ Watt maybe not always being 100% available, that will definitely be a sorely missed player for some nice depth at the outside linebacker position. Moving on here to the Baltimore Ravens now. They have done squat nothing. Brent Urban, Darryl Worley, Trayvon Mullen, these are all re-signings. Justice Hill, they put a tender on Tyler Huntley, Nick Moore, their long snapper, Geno Stone. The only signing they had, like external, was Nelson Aguilar. 3 years, $3.2 million. That's how much money Baltimore spent outside of their own crew. Now, give credit to the Ravens. They've always been a well-run organization under Harbaugh, so they clearly know something how to put together a winning formula. But if you're a Ravens fan, you've never really looked forward to free agency all that much, and you haven't had to because it's worked out elsewise, but they have not really added anyone. Who have they lost in free agency? Starting left guard Ben Powers, they're going to miss him. Josh Oliver, I thought that was an overpay by the Vikings anyway. Calais Campbell to the Falcons. Tristan Colin Castillo. Outside of Powers, they didn't lose any key players, but they also didn't really gain any key players. Now, we're saying all this without addressing the big elephant in the room, Lamar Jackson. What's the latest on Lamar? I don't fucking know. Your guess is as good as mine as where he ends up. The Ravens placed the non-exclusive franchise tag on him before free agency. Then on Twitter, about a week ago, he said that he requested a trade back on March 2nd, which was 5 days before the Ravens put the franchise tag on him. There appears to be no end in sight to the standoff right now. I have no idea what's going to come of the Lamar Jackson situation. I know this much. There are a bunch of teams out there that need quarterbacks. None of them have expressed interest in Lamar. Only one head coach has really spoken very highly of Lamar and would like to see his team pursue him. That's John Harbaugh. Because he knows without Lamar, he could be not on the way out of Baltimore, but without a quarterback, that's an easy way to get fired. My free agency grade for the Crows, it's incomplete. How can I grade them? I don't know what's going to happen with Lamar. That's going to dictate a lot, right? If they trade Lamar and get a lot of picks, that's going to definitely swing the pendulum a little bit, but they're losing Lamar at the same time. So it's incomplete for now. But predict it for me. Will Lamar play in Baltimore in 2023? Not where is he going to play, but just overall, will he be a Raven? I did see a fun story of how the Ravens were looking into signing Baker Mayfield. Would have been fun if he went to the Ravens week 1, home against Baltimore, Monday Night Football. Baker comes back to Cleveland. That would have been cool, not going to lie. But let me know, Y for yes or N for no, if Lamar will be in Baltimore this year. Moving on down south to Cincinnati. They have not had a huge free agency spree. The biggest signing is Orlando Brown, which I thought was a very good move for them. 4 years, $64 million. A bit of a bargain, I thought, for one of the best tackles in football. Other free agent signings, wide receiver Trent Taylor, tackle Cody Ford, Terrell Basham. I think that happened today, actually. Nick Scott, that's a very important signing for them because they lost both starting safeties, and we'll look at that closer in just a second. Sidney Jones, the corner, comes over, which they need some help there with some injuries piling up. And then Max Sharping from Houston as a guard, another training camp, roster bubble player here. Here's who the Bengals lost in free agency. Jesse Bates, and Von Bell. Those are two big losses. Those are your starting safeties right there. Now, you signed one replacement, and you drafted Daxton Hill out of Michigan last year to be the other guy's replacement. So you're not necessarily starting from scratch, but I think all Bengals fans would agree, would you rather have Scott or Hill or Bates and Bell? They're going to go BB. Hayden Hurst and Samaje Perine, I think, are kind of low-key departures that they will miss. So 4 notable guys they lost in free agency. The biggest signing, though, of course, is Orlando Brown, right? The Pro Bowl left tackle. He was 19th overall out of 81, according to PFF last season. Overall grade, 75.8. Pass blocking, 77.2. Run blocking, 69. Nice. Now, here's my free agency grade for the Bengals. I'm going to give it a B-. Signing Orlando Brown helped a lot, and Nick Scott eased the pain a little bit. But you did lose Samaje Perine when it feels like Joe Mixon is on the way out. Hayden Hurst is not irreplaceable, okay? And you lost your 2 starting safeties in Jesse Bates and Von Bell. I'm going to go B-. Maybe it could be a B with Orlando Brown, but I think that's where the roughly in those waters is where they land. Now, next up on the show, I want to talk about some trades, right? Well, just one in particular, because the other 3 members of the AFC North have brought nothing to the party when it comes to making some offseason trades. But before we look at that, I want to remind everyone that we've got the official NFL draft hats. So wear the hat that Browns draftees will be wearing next month. Go to chatsports.com/Browns hat. I put that link for everyone in the comments and the description of today's show. Now, whether or not it's a good move, quick, golf clap for Andrew Berry doing something. It's way more fun when your GM does something in the offseason than sits on his hands. The Elijah Moore trade was fun. It was awesome, right? Looking back at it, and the beauty is it's only going to get better because he still has to play for the Browns now. So I can't wait to see how that looks. Now, Elijah Moore's stats, we'll throw them on screen for you guys here. What he did in his rookie year in just 11 games, and then got shadow banned by an offensive coordinator that was fired. Talking to you, Matt LaFleur. Yeah, I think, or Mike LaFleur, whichever one is in New York, I think the Browns got a very good speedy wide receiver that for no good reason was just casted away out in New Jersey. Now, a little bit of bias coming through right now. So if I got any Steelers, Ravens, or Bengals fans watching, understand where I'm coming from here. But the Browns addressed all of their needs before the NFL draft even started. What did we go into this offseason wanting to see get done? Improve the run defense. Done. Replace Clowney with a younger guy. Done. Add speed to the wide receiver room. Done. For Andrew Berry and company to get all that done without even the draft, that really speaks volume to where this team is headed, in my opinion. So I think the Browns won free agency, won the offseason so far. My AFC North rankings as of right now, I've still got the Bengals at number 1 because someone's got to prove to me they can beat Joe Burrow and win the division after 2 straight division championships. But I think the Browns are the second best team right now in the AFC North. They're ahead of the Ravens, which is hard to say without knowing who the quarterback is. But if Lamar comes back, I'm still feeling pretty confident because the last 2 seasons, even when the Browns have played Lamar, they picked him off 4 times 2 years ago, and Baker in the offense couldn't score any points. Last year with Jacoby Brissett, if not for a bogus field goal call at the end of the game, Browns were robbed of a win. And then the Steelers in the cellar because I'm not in on Kenny Pickett. It's kind of funny. Everyone shit talks Deshaun Watson's stats from 2022. Go do yourself a favor. Go look at Kenny Pickett's stats. He played more games than Deshaun Watson, and Watson had better stats. So do with that information what you will. Now, my boss sent over the Vegas win totals for all 32 teams, and the Browns are at 9 wins for 2023. Over or under 9 wins for Cleveland. I'm going to give you my prediction in just a second. I want to hear from everyone watching, though, first. I'm taking the over, right? We are in the overs club, baby. We are in the driver's seat because I'm going 11-6 for Cleveland in 2023. I don't think in the full first year of Deshaun Watson, I'm not going to go all the way to fantasy land and say they're going to win 13-plus games. The AFC is very tough. We'll look at their schedule, but 11-6 definitely feels attainable. Why? Because look at their schedule for a second. Look at their home games. Ignore the AFC North consistent opponents. Cardinals, Bears, those two teams were bottom 5 in the NFL last year. Jaguars, they're going to be sneaky tough. Jets, TBD. But I'm not that afraid of an old Aaron Rodgers. 49ers, they're never an easy out. They were one of the best teams in the NFC last year. But depending on who the quarterback is, what if you get San Francisco week 2 and it's Sam Darnold? That changes things. Titans, they're going to be atrocious. So I'm looking at these 9 home games right here. Even if you go 2-1 at home in the division, that's 2 wins. Cardinals and Bears, now we're up to 5. And then Jags, Jets, 49ers, Titans, you can split those, right? Now we're at 6 wins at home, 6-3 altogether. Now you go on the road. Can I find 5 wins here? Let's say they win 1 of those 3 road games, okay? Now we're at 7 wins. Denver, that's winnable. We're at 8. Texans, Colts, Rams, Seahawks. I'm looking for 3 wins right there. Texans and Colts, the 2nd and 4th worst team in football last year. Give it to me. That's 2 more. The Seahawks are due for a major regression. And the Rams, I don't know what to make of the Rams. I'm proud of myself for calling it last year that they would have a major setback. Those 4 right there, I can find 3 wins. Houston, Indy, and then LA or Ram or Seattle. And boom, we have found our way to 11 wins. And that's with the Browns not doing well in the AFC North. A spot where Kevin Stefanski has fared pretty well in. So, 10 wins has to be the floor. If we get to a 9-win season and it's January of 2024 and I am upbeat about it for whatever reason, please send me the timestamp of this video and go, no, Matthew. We are rioting if it's less than 10 wins because it has to be a 10-win season at least for the talent on this team and the cupcake FCS schedule they've got laid out for them. Has to be 10 wins. That is it for today's show. If you have not already, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Always appreciate talking to you guys. Cam from Canada wanted to do a Spaces with me yesterday. It was during my Trivia League. We lost. It was a bummer. So I am all for Spaces now because I won't have much trivia in the next 2 weeks. We're going to get eliminated from the postseason. But that is my personal, meltdown mode going on here. So signing off. We'll see you guys later.